Many thanks for staying with us. And of course, if you just joined in, we are still continuing your Current Affairs program, TMI, this time around reaching you live from our Lagos Network Center on the ITV network. Once again, I am Joshua Okata. As they say, terrorism has become a systematic weapon of war that knows no border and seldom has a face. To this end, we will be talking about terrorism financing with respect to the grave allegation made by the former governor of Kaduna State in the person of Malam Nasser El-Rufai against the Tinubu-led administration vis-a-vis the reaction from various quarters of government. What exactly are these allegations, and what also is the position the government is taking on this issue? Well, our guest in the person of Mr. Victor Ohio, a global affairs analyst, is still in the building with us to share his insightful thoughts on this issue. Once again, thank you so much, Mr. Victor.
Thank you for having me.
All right, now let's go into the conversation proper. I might be wrong, but put me right. No responsible or serious government of the world wants to be associated with terrorism financing, let alone take it lightly if such issues are brought to its table. I mean, I was watching a video just last night of the United States, how the United States Navy SEAL flew into the country on October 31st, 2020, without the knowledge of Nigeria, to rescue one of their own, an American citizen. This individual was rescued from the hands of Boko Haram, somewhere in the northeast, without the knowledge of Nigeria, and then they rescued this guy unharmed. And here we have it, a former governor of Kaduna State accusing this administration of being involved in what is known as terrorism financing, paying hefty sum to a particular terror group just to appease them to keep peace. What's your take on this?
Okay, first of all, let me correct a statement you made that no government in the world will get itself involved in terrorism financing. You might say against itself. That's not exactly true, because there are foreign governments that finance terrorism against other governments. We do know that, that back rebels, back terrorists, depending on what their objectives are. But that's not the issue in discourse here. Yeah. Now, as an act of desperation, it is also possible, and we do know that sometimes when people are kidnapped, especially high-profile persons or people in government, if the military don't get them, the government negotiate with them and bring them out, sometimes through mediators. It happens. So it's not like no government can get involved for terrorism. So now the word terrorism financing is where I think we are having a problem, which means that you cannot be financing terrorists. Okay? And why would they want to do it deliberately? No. What you find is a situation where perhaps, I can say, as an act of desperation, a government will just say, okay, guys, what can I give you so that I can enjoy peace? And you know that the president has praised the Kaduna State government, talking about enjoying peace all this while. It's possible that it's part of a strategy he has adopted. Now, we may not know what that strategy is. He certainly does not control the military. He does not control the police. And so, if it is just the act of government alone, say, as the Office of National Security Advisor has said, then why is Kaduna a peculiar case? Why not Zamfara? Why not some of these other places? Why should Kaduna in particular be enjoying that peace? Look at what's happening on the plateau. It persists. And now I hear the governor I listened to somebody that he appointed recently, a retired Major General who was speaking on another station, who said that, you know, they are now going to find out what the root cause is, which means they are discussing with the terrorists. They're talking to all the communities, and it's not complete without talking to the terrorists or those terrorizing them to find out what the issues are. And he said interesting facts are emerging. So there are various, like the military would say, they engage in kinetic and non-kinetic methods. Kinetic methods are the military methods, you know, brute force. But you know that wars are not always won through brute force alone. Every war would usually end with dialogue. It's not always, or most wars, it's not always that guns and arms are used to end wars. Okay, so you find a situation where, like I say, you have the kinetic and non-kinetic methods. If you try the kinetic method and your opponent is as strong or perhaps even stronger than you in some places, in some cases, you may have to try the non-kinetic method.
So are you saying in this case, the reason the former governor has accused, you know, the government of the day is the fact that they've been overwhelmed, given the fact that they used kinetic force?
I've not landed yet. I was merely analyzing the situation because he has alleged. Okay? I'm saying that the allegations may not be totally unfounded, and even if that happens, there might be a reason. No government will admit to paying ransom. No government will do, even when they do. And in many cases, they actually do. God forbid, but you cannot capture the son of the president, for instance, and if his life is threatened, when the father is saying, or the military are saying, we'll go and get them, we'll fire them, the mother of the child will be saying, please, my son, just give them the money, let them go, let them release my son to me. How do you balance that? I don't know if you get to that.
Yeah, I understand. But
so, no, I'm just saying. So, you find that there are ways, there are different methods. I'll come to El-Rufai later. You know, he may be speaking. Sometimes you look at the message and forget the messenger. So what I'm trying to do is look at the message itself and analyze the message before we go back to the messenger. If we start with the messenger, we might look at him and say, look, oh, he's not happy, he has beef with the current government, and so it's an easy way to analyze the matter and just dismiss it. But let us look at the reality on ground before looking at the messenger, is the point that I'm trying to make. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
So when you are confronted with a situation where you can afford it, your son is held by terrorists, and the police or the military are saying, don't worry, we will get him for you, no matter what. And you know that those guys are armed, and they won't let go without a fight. And they know that, you know, ordinarily, without these people coming in, they can get good money from you. Even as a father, if you know that you can pay, we're not saying it's right, it doesn't make it right. We shouldn't do it. But I don't know whether the ideal, whether being idealistic will make you rational when you are actually confronted with a situation like this.
Well, you were saying now that, you know, ideals may be thrown into a trash can when it happens to be
rationality,
a case where it is the president's son.
No, it can be anybody. It could be your son. Forget that example of president. It could be your son. It could be someone very close and dear to you. When there's a danger of collateral damage, maybe bullet flying in between, unknown soldier, it can be unknown, it can be from, the bullet can fly. In a situation like that, what do you want to do? Until you are confronted, you don't know what to say. Kudos to our military, they have conducted, and the police, they have conducted many successful operations. Okay? But accidents can and do happen. Do you want to risk it?
Why not we learn from other developed countries on how they rescue or go for rescue mission without having to have money exchange hands? Just as I've said earlier.
Please don't get me wrong. I am not in support of any money exchanging hands. And that's a conversation we'll have a little later about financing terrorism. Or perhaps I can bring it in now, but let me answer this question first. I can take that later. The military you're talking about, do you know how much was deployed to save that one soul?
So much resources.
Okay.
Both human, personnel, and
in fact, what they used to save that singular person,
yes,
maybe more than half of Nigeria's military budget for a year.
Absolutely.
Now, is your military that resourced? When security budget is more than twice your military budget, your annual military budget, security vote that governors misuse or the executives use and misuse without accountability.
So my question to you
no, I'm coming.
What happens to the previous administration where the Minister of Information once said that these guys have been decimated? These guys have been technically defeated. We were getting so much of those
propaganda.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's all lies of government. It's propaganda. They want to look good. They have to be seen to be working. So my point is, you talked about why can we not be like the Americans, go and save that one. So do you have a government that really cares? I mean, let's be honest. I mean, this is not about whether I don't. You know, there's no. You know, so let's be realistic. Even they know that lives don't matter that much to them. These are just numbers, statistics to people in government.
Really?
And it's unfortunate. If it really mattered, we won't be talking from the Chibok guys and all the recent cases. They won't be saying, "Oh, it's only." It's only until it's your son or your daughter, or your wife or your husband. Otherwise, only 50 people, only 20. So if the press says 50 people, you say, no, it's only 10 people. Really? Only 10 people? Because they're not your 10 people. I was coming from, okay, I just came back from Kaduna. I was supposed to be on that train that, what do you call it now? Derailed. Yes, okay. Yes. But by because I took a 6:30 flight from Lagos to Abuja. But we reckon that train is 9:30. We reckon that let's not take a chance in case the flights, although they seldom delay for those first flights, let's just say let's go with the 3:30 train. So we just said, okay, that was the only thing that just saved me from being on that train. So I got to Abuja. There's always a free train from there to Idu station where you get a board to Kaduna. So while I was there waiting, at around 1 o'clock or thereabouts, a policewoman walked up to me, whispered and said, "Okay, I don't know, are you in a hurry? Is it really, really, compulsory that you must, can you, I don't know, but it's not my, but can you, I would advise you to go by road so that you may make your appointment on time. It looks like there's a small issue on the way, maybe the train, something happened, they're trying to fix it or that, but I doubt that it will be ready before, I don't think it will be ready today, it might delay you," and that's how she put it. I said, okay, I'll think about it. So I think I started putting some calls through. And also to the people that I was going to see in Kaduna. That's when the news came that it had derailed. And then before you knew what was happening, I saw on social media, I asked them to send me videos. They said they had videos already. What I saw, sort of reset my mind. But that's not where I'm going. When I was coming back on Friday, almost every 100 meters you saw armored vehicles with the military all the way through from Kaduna to Abuja. Now, what does that say to you? The big men know how to take care of themselves, because they would normally take the train. Now that they have to go by road, then all that security, all the way through. Remember, it's a Friday. So they're using that route on a Friday, going, and all that. And I just realized, oh, so these people know how to take care of themselves. So if they truly want to secure a route, they can. If that train had not happened, the rest of us would have been on our own if we were going by road, is what I'm trying to say.
All right. Now, my question to you would be, as they say, he who alleges must prove. So if these claim by the former governor is anything to go by, my question to you is, which is also corroborating your earlier statement when you say if kinetic approach is not working, then perhaps the other approach
They're not kinetic. Both will work.
All right. Now, does this explain why some wonder the reason we don't get to hear these Boko Haram or bandit guys sometimes, when they go on their activities? Could it be that the non-kinetic approach is being offered to them?
No, they say we don't hear when they go.
Yes, because obviously, at some point in time, you don't get to hear some violent crimes committed here and there.
No.
Could it explain why El-Rufai is saying these monies being paid to them is to keep peace, and when the money is not forthcoming, they hit the streets?
Okay, so sometimes the media, it's not about complicity, but it's about not giving them publicity, because publicity is like oxygen for them.
Really?
Yes. It makes them feel, oh, we did it. Did you see us? Did you watch the news today? We were there.
So they enjoy those publicity?
Oh, they do. It's like oxygen. It's like superstars, like rock stars. They hit, and then they go to look and see the reports, how it was reported. So sometimes government will say, please keep it down, so they're not. And they keep it down can be for two reasons: to protect themselves, but also not to give oxygen to these people. But we have known about cases where certain governments, I think it happened, I don't know if it's Zamfara some time ago, where such negotiations took place. And a man like, what's his name, Gumi, would always say to you, let me go and talk to them. He will leave, and I wonder why
he chooses to be the mediator.
The mediator,
it's another conversation.
Yes, and no one has ever asked him, how come you're chummy with these guys? How come you're the one who gets to talk to them? Who gets to negotiate ransom with them? Who gets to see them and the rest of us don't? How did you get to know them?
Could it be a profit in?
And then, and then you find situations where you talk about being accessories after the fact in cases of maybe murder or even cases like that, which means if you do know the people that are doing this and you fail to report or say where they are and all that, aren't you being complicit? And why is it difficult for government to monitor him as well and find out where he goes to do this stuff? And then maybe after he leaves, go right there and strike them. So sometimes, abracadabra, the more you see, the less you see.
The less you know.
I don't know about that.
Right, does this claim by El-Rufai in any way, shape or form stop violence in Kaduna?
Okay, so now let's address the El-Rufai claim. El-Rufai, obviously, and his, should I say, former protege, the current governor, are no longer friends. There's no secret. He has since parted ways with APC and the government, and obviously he's not chummy with the president since after his ministerial appointment or ambition was botched. So you can say he has a grouse. He's bitter. El-Rufai is also known sometimes to be a bit economical with the truth. So when he talks, you don't know whether he's telling the truth or not. But he's a man who would know what is going on. Should we dismiss what he has said? Certainly not. But why would it be important? There are two things to look at. First of all, the peace is good. Anything that will save lives for me, there's no price that is too much to pay for it.
So whether money exchange hands or not?
No, hear me. Don't put the words in my mouth. Anything that will save lives, for me, is very, very important. But at what cost? To what end, and what are the implications? If it means that you are going to be giving money to these people, and of course the first thing they'll procure is their raw material, which is their arms, so that they can continue to remain in business. If it's going to empower them to continue to do what they're doing, if not in that territory, in other territories, then I think there's a problem with it. And that is where El-Rufai is coming from. And that's where the issue of financing terrorism is coming from. And so it gives cause for concern. You know, we need to be worried about that. We cannot be financing terrorists. We cannot be paying ransom. And so the thing now is, it therefore points to the failure of intelligence, you know, because where there's adequate intelligence, you don't need to finance terrorists. That will reveal where they are, and then what the Americans did, to a lesser degree, we would be able to do. Which means that, and I think I've seen videos of our military, they've tried in some cases where they've been able to isolate these guys, and the Air Force, you know, have been able to decimate them, bomb them, whereas they move in their convoy and all that. So intelligence is one thing. Is there a paucity of intelligence or inadequate intelligence? I doubt. I think that we are getting enough information. But how well are we acting on this information? And how equipped or how empowered are the people on ground? I've heard the rank and file soldiers and police say, if they want terrorism to end, let me not say in one day, let's say within a month, that we have everything it takes. So the question is, who is benefiting? And of course, you know that when things like this happen, people benefit. Because when in the Niger Delta, we had this joint task force, you know, at the time when all these things were happening there, you know, with the militants and all that. The military guys who were there heading the joint task force were praying that this thing will not come to an end. Military budget you don't account for. It's like your security vote. And so what they do is, there's another form of terrorism where the security forces will say, Oga, there is danger. If we don't have money to do this now, this blah, 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 blah. You say, really? You cannot question them. They give you intelligence, whether false or real, and cause panic, and you have to release the money. And sometimes, some of them are known to sabotage, to force you in a way to part with that money. If you don't react, if you don't act, they will do things that will make you react, whether you like it or yes. Excuse my language. Okay? That in itself is another form of terrorism. So for those who are posted there, it is in their interest for it to continue. And so I think the best way to go about this is, one, to constantly change and not make anybody a commander there for so long. If you know that your period is not going to be more than a week or 2 or 3, and that you will soon leave that place, then you have no vested interest.
All right.
Okay?
Now let's look at the position the government is taking on this. They have come out to refute such claim made by the former governor, and saying that those allegations are not only baseless, but they are both provocative and manipulative. How true is this?
I don't know about how true, because the truth is that only they know what the truth is. You know what I mean? We can only conjecture. Have they paid terrorists? We can't tell. If you're a supporter, you will say no. If you're in the other camp, you will say yes. Okay? So government is doing what it's good at, which is to refute it. And they may also be right. It's not impossible. The military can say, the Office of National Security Advisor can say it's not true. That's what is expected from that office. Otherwise, you're admitting that you are a failure.
Because we're pressed for time, I just need you to quickly address this issue. While we were yet to grapple with this huge allegation made by the governor, he also took a swipe directly at President Bola Ahmed Tinubu towards his 2027 ambition, where he said the president will come not even in second position, but a distant third. Which, if you look at it critically, this was the position given by the Labour Party presidential candidate after the 2023 election by INEC. So what does the former governor imply by this statement, that Bola Ahmed Tinubu will come a distant third come 2027?
Is there something he knows perhaps that we don't?
Say that again.
Is there something perhaps he knows that we don't? I know he's not sleeping. He's relentless, and he will do whatever it takes to get back at, the president for the way he was treated. So you know for sure that he wouldn't wish the current president well. That one is very clear.
I need you to expatiate a little bit on that matter where he said he would do anything it takes.
Well, you can see the groundswell already. How did ADC come about? ADC is perhaps maybe the third force we've been waiting for. Labour just came by accident. It wasn't really like planned. ADC is deliberate. Deliberate in the sense that you can see the people that have formed it. They're from both parties, and these are very seasoned politicians. And the only agenda is to unseat this government. And that's what it is.
Thank you so much, Dr. Victor Ohio, Global Affairs Analyst, for giving us your insightful thought on this matter.
Thank you for having me as always.
You're welcome. All right, that's our offering for you from our Lagos Network studio. Many thanks for watching.